Volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Okay, Simon, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. And what do people normally wear?
Clothes.
Exactly. So now Mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Clothes keep us warm, they look good, and if we go out without them, the neighbors will talk. So it's important to know how to get dressed. Here's how it's done. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. If you're wearing a tie, it goes over, round, through, and pull tight. Tuck your shirt into your pants and zip up your flap. Socks going first, then shoes right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears.
I love bunnies.
Good to know. Now remember, spots don't go with stripes, socks don't go with sandals, and if you've tucked in your shirt, wear a belt. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are very, very important. Someday, many years from now, when you're a grown-up, you'll be a man. And when you are, you should be a gentleman. Do you want me to go through it one more time?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If a door's shut, then knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't speak with your mouth full, don't reach across people's plates, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. While we're at it, don't stare, don't use foul language, don't call people names, but do remember people's names. Always share your toys, play nice, and cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give up your seat to anyone who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
Hey, there he is. How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand or what?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you okay?
I'm having a stroke.
Your face looks weird too.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you having a seizure or something?
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear.
I'm having a stroke.
You just need to know the sudden signs. Look for FAST, F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. Or S, speech difficulty. Then T, time. Time to call 911 immediately, because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Know the sudden signs. Face, arm, speech, time. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds. And most of them are tossed aside.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold said so.
And so, goodbye. And good night, bang!
Settle! Because I'm better than you, and you know it. Yes, sir, but the rock is cooking.
Now welcome to Off the Mats with Alex Lowe's and Josh Silverberg.
Hello And good afternoon, everybody. It is Saturday, and if you are a wrestling fan, then this is the show for you. Welcome to a show where we talk all things wrestling and sports entertainment. Welcome to Off the Mat on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. I'm Alex Slows. With me up north, where it's probably freezing cold right now and a lot of snow, is Lyle Gillen. How's it going, Lyle?
It's going really good. It's not as cold as you think it is, man. It's a little bit. It's been a little bit nicer out as of late, so it's closer to spring. I'm excited for the warm weather this summer.
Stick with us here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network for an awesome show. But before we get started, we got to do our house cleaning, and that's telling our fans and listeners and followers how they can tune in and access all of the shows here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, because it's not just wrestling. We have a variety of shows you can listen to. We have Down to the Wire with Speedy and Errol Marks, Below the Mic, The Weekend Crunch with Errol Marks and Josh Silverberg, The Ryan Hickey Show, The Wise Guys, Weapons Hot, The Sports Hit List, and so much more. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Off the Mat WWSRN, and follow me and Lyle on our personal Twitters at Show Slows and at Lyle OTM. Also, download the WWSRN app. It's absolutely free, and you can access all of our shows and check out all the articles written by show hosts, as well as get all the shows with a push of a button. You can download the app in the Google Play Store or from the Apple App Store. It's only going to get better here as we grow together as a network. So please, if you have any questions during our show, or if you have any questions on our topics during our show, you can leave comments below on Facebook Live or on our recent on our recent Twitter post at Off the Mat WWSRN. Okay, Lyle, now it's time to get into our AEW NXT recap.
Sure, sounds like a plan.
So we saw AEW Dynamite open this week with Eddie Kingston versus Pac. I thought the match was amazing. It was a great start with Pac wasting little time going after Eddie Kingston. And this rivalry has been boiling up for weeks. You saw Eddie Kingston get involved with the dark triangle, and you saw him say that Ray Phoenix is dead weight. Penta, you don't need your brother. All you need is me and Butcher and the Blade, and that's all you're gonna have. And the Lucha Bros, they were not too happy about it. Pac was not too happy about it. So, what were your thoughts on that situation? How do you think this is all going to turn out?
I really liked the match. Also, I didn't know what to expect from it. Eddie Kingston isn't the most technical wrestler. Pac is a much different level than him. I was unsure of it. I expected the match to be solid and hard hitting, and it met that. And I thought it was a very good match. I'm a big fan of Pac. I think Pac is extremely talented. What he did before he came to AEW over in Japan, I think he's phenomenal. I can't wait for him to go into that main event scene. I think that a pay-per-view match of him and Omega for the title can probably be match of the year if they really let them do what they do. What they did in 2020, yeah, it was 2020 and 2019. They did phenomenal together. They have great chemistry. Their match at All Out when they filled in for Paige was great. Their Iron Man match was very, very good. But I think that it's a little different for Pac because he's not built up as a main event guy yet. So that might be a little while. But this type of rivalry with Kingston, I really enjoyed. I enjoyed how they developed it. I enjoyed everything about it. They started off. It was when they started off. I think it was in. Was it Double or Nothing? They started like hinting to it when they started doing the family, and you knew because Pac was over in the UK because of the pandemic. When he came back, they were going to do something, and I just think they did it in a very good, very nice way. Him coming back was a surprise. I really enjoyed it.
Do you think the Death Triangle storyline has helped the careers of Eddie Kingston and Pac in AEW, and why?
I think that Eddie Kingston, it didn't really help him because I think the Moxley storyline really pushed him to that next level. But I think that the family storyline really helped Phoenix and Pentagon show to a lot of fans who might not have watched them as singles wrestlers, show what they can do. And I really enjoyed that. Phoenix's match with Omega was a lot of fun. It was great. I really enjoyed it. I hope that they allow them to do a lot more singles matches, what they did in the tournament leading into Full Gear. They did very well. I wish that Phoenix didn't get hurt. But yeah, I think it helped out those two the most.
So the next match we saw was Chuck Taylor versus Miro. We saw Chuck Taylor open the match going after Miro from behind. I love how Chuck Taylor brought the fight to Miro, throwing him into the stage wall pretty hard, and he really did some damage to Miro and kept the pressure on him. It's definitely something you really need to do to take a man down that size. Someone who's very aware and very skilled in the ring like Miro. But the problem with Miro is I don't think he needs Kip Sabian to do so well in an AEW career. I think they should just go with a singles run with Miro. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think they need to separate Kip Sabian from Miro, or do you like how that's going?
I fully agree. I think he's much better in his own role. However, when he was in WWE and he was with I forget his name, when they started doing the Rusev Day, that's when he was the most over.
Yeah,
you can go.
He was. I forget his name too. I'm trying to remember what his name was, but he was. Yeah, you're right. He was way over with that. A lot of people loved that part of Miro. Loved that part of Miro in that storyline. And
I think that's what they're trying to get towards. They're trying to give him someone as like an extra mouthpiece, like they did in WWE. But I would like to get your thoughts on what you think about how AEW brought in the young boy term, which isn't very well known in the United States. It's more of a term in Japan. I'd like to get what you think about that.
It's kind of I've never seen it. I've never heard it over in the U.S. The only term that I've heard from Japan is young lion. That's the one I'm most familiar with. But to me, this bringing over using the term young boy, that's something brand new to me. I've never heard anything like that in wrestling.
Well, it's essentially a young lion, but that is the generic term in Japan for it. Young lion is more of the New Japan term because young lion is their own. That's what they do with the LA Dojo. That's what they call them. But it's it's something new here, and I really hope that they continue to mesh the New Japan style of wrestling, the New Japan wrestling culture, into the United States. I think it's a lot of fun, and I really hope that it exposes the U.S. to more of New Japan style, because I think it's a much better style.
I agree. I feel like having that and having that applied to the USA wrestling style is only going to make it better. It's only going to make it It's only going to make it better for all the wrestlers in their careers. And I'm trying to remember what it was, but you saw this on AEW Dynamite too. After Chuck Taylor lost his match, he's now going to be the butler of Miro for a month. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's going to be a good storyline, a good twist to the best friends storyline that they have?
Well, yes. They called it. I think they said it on Dynamite. They called it the Butler, but it's really what they announced it on Twitter. They originally announced it as Young Boy. It's the same thing. I think it's going to be. It's a great way to use Chuck Taylor while
Trent's hurt.
Trent is hurt. Yeah, I think it's great. It'll continue moving along the storyline, and I really look forward to seeing where it's going to go. I think it's going to be very entertaining. What about you?
It's been very entertaining to watch. I love the work that Best Friends and Miro and Kip Sabian have been doing. Each week there's another twist to it. Like the week before, we saw them get attacked out in the parking lot, and Miro, we saw a more aggressive Miro, and I like seeing that. I want to see a more aggressive Miro. I want to see somebody that's like not afraid to just take it to his opponents.
I agree. I just don't like the game over that he does right before he does the accolade. I think it's very, very cheesy. Hopefully he cuts that out. But besides that, I think he's great as a singles wrestler, and I think he should continue getting pushed in that direction.
And the next thing we saw was the Inner Circle New Year's resolution segment. Inner Circle got into an argument about who's tagging with Jericho for the AEW World Tag Team Championships in 2021. A match has been decided where whoever wins will be the official tag team for the Inner Circle. What were your thoughts on that segment, and what did you enjoy the most about it?
I enjoyed the segment, but I do not enjoy how they have LAX / Proud and Powerful, who's very, very good, and they're not letting them show what they can do. They seem to be the tag team that's continually getting buried in AEW, and I don't mean buried by the general term, but I mean buried in the standing underneath other talent in the tag team division. When they should be at the top, they should be one of the main event tag teams. They are that caliber. They were that over when they came into AEW.
Yeah, they were over. They were long over an Impact before they came to AEW. And I totally agree with you. I believe LAX needs a better push. AEW management needs to give them more of a focus, more of a chance to build themselves up. And we're not seeing that. We're not seeing them compete often on Dynamite, and we need to see more of that.
And even when they do compete, it's like they always lose. It's really frustrating to watch. I would love to see them with the tag team titles. Honestly, I would love to see Inner Circle break up. And as much as I hate to say that, I love Inner Circle, but I would love to see Proud and Powerful join the family with Eddie Kingston.
I think that would be amazing to see. And
they were with him in Impact.
They definitely were. They had a whole storyline together in Impact. There was a lot that they did in their careers and with their time there. And now that they're in AEW and with the Inner Circle, I believe there's going to be tension within the Inner Circle. I believe there's going to be cracks. I think it's going to be MJF who causes all the tension and all the drama within the Inner Circle. And I feel like the way it's going to happen is he's going to stab Chris Jericho in the back, but it's going to be when we least expect it.
I don't think he's going to stab him in the back with something that's blatant and like turning on him. I think he's going to do something to try and win the match that's going to make him in the spotlight, and Jericho's not going to like it. That's how I see that unfolding. I don't think it's going to be something where he goes and attacks Jericho. I think it's going to be something small, something little, where you kind of look and you can see Jericho's facial expression. He's not happy about it. Maybe MJF misses a tag or misses something or does he goes for a pin that Jericho wanted. I don't know, but I think they're going to do something very, very subtle, like AEW does a great job of doing, to hint at what's going to happen. And that's what I fully expect in the in this three-way tag team that they're doing.
And the next match we had was Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers versus Griff Garrison, Brian Pillman Jr., and Danny Limelight. At the beginning of the match, it seemed like the Young Bucks were going to come out and tag with Kenny Omega, and then they just really got under their skin by not allowing them to come out and join. And you saw that the Invisible Hand, Mark, I forget his name. I'm blanking out now, but the Invisible Mark Callis. You saw that he was joking with Kenny about it, and the Young Bucks didn't take too kindly to it. And I love how they're building up some type of feud between the Young Bucks and the Good Brothers, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do there, because they have wrestled each other before many times in their careers, and it's going to be truly special when the Good Brothers get another match, another main event caliber match that everybody's going to be looking forward to seeing.
I honestly love what they did. They announced it as the Elite, and they teased it as the Elite the entire time. Then, when it got up there, Don Callis kind of like slowly backed off. Might not want to do it. No, the Elite theme song. I loved it because they're pushing Kenny as the top heel, not only AEW, in all of wrestling right now. And this did a great job of doing that. He kind of said, screw you to his long-time friends, Young Bucks, and went to who he's tagging with at Hard to Kill in the Good Brothers. I thought it did a great job of making him even more heel, making him get some heat. It was interesting. I didn't expect it. And I don't know if it was because they thought Nick was injured, because that was the rumor after the last show.
Yeah,
they taped the show
weeks ago.
They think he might have broke his leg, but they weren't sure. I don't know if that played a factor into it. It could have. But they kept the whole storyline moving, and I'm going to give credit to Josh with this one, but he said that he didn't think that the Bullet Club reunion was going to last long, and it's been 1 week, and it's already kind of starting to have some cracks in it. So I'll give him the credit for that one. I was hoping it would go a long time, but no, I think they're doing a great job with the storyline and what they're doing with the reunion and that whole entire match. I thought that was great.
I agree. I cannot wait to see where it leads to. It'll turn out really good, and I'm really excited about it. And this match was fun to watch. Seeing Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows compete on AEW was amazing. I hope we get to see them in more matches on Dynamite. But what happened after the match was very interesting. We saw Jon Moxley attack Kenny Omega, and then the Lucha Bros joined in the brawl, and things broke down very quickly. And what were your thoughts on Moxley attacking Kenny Omega? And why do you think the Lucha Bros got involved? Do you think they're going to have an alliance with Jon Moxley, a short alliance?
No, I don't think they will. I think they're just going to try and push the Lucha Bros into the main event tag team picture again. I was really hoping the Young Bucks would come out and help Jon Moxley, and after being mad about getting kicked out of the match. That's what I was hoping. Because you saw, and I think this was the first time we really saw Tony Khan on TV. I'm not counting the Brody Lee tribute show. But I think this was the first time we really got to look at him, except for the 5-second time when Kenny Omega won the title and rushed out of the building. They showed him for like a second really quick. This was the first time he was really on screen. And I think that Tony Khan is someone who said he didn't want to be on TV. So I found that interesting. But yeah, I thought that they're clearly setting up Omega and Moxley at Revolution. I think this will have a lot more build to it than their last match. But yeah, I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be a great match. Given a full pay-per-view time slot for a match of 60 minutes, I think it'll be great. It'll be much better than the first two. What did you think about it?
I thought it was a great way to bring in another storyline for the Lucha Bros, and I think it's going to help them in the long run as a tag team. And I think that's what AEW is trying to focus on. They're trying to focus on building their tag teams in AEW, because right now we only have we have only a few tag teams like I'm trying to remember the TH2. We have them. We have SoCal and Sinister. And then a couple other teams I'm trying to remember. Then
the Acclaimed?
The Acclaimed. We have them, the Young Bucks. Top Flight. There's a lot of different names that they are trying to add to the tag team division, and I like what they're doing there. And I think it's going to help AEW grow exponentially and help them in the ratings against NXT.
I fully agree. AEW definitely has the best tag team division in my opinion. I don't really care about the ratings personally anymore because NXT, ever since they lost, they had Balor out for a while, they had Karrion Kross out for a while, they kind of just fell down in the ratings, and they're floating around the 600,000. So it's over for that. Hopefully NXT moves to a new night and they can.
Yeah, I'm hoping they move to Thursday or Friday night where they can just have their own. They don't even have to be attached or a battle against AEW. They could just focus on their own thing and not do not continue this ratings war. I believe it's better for both promotions to have their own night.
I fully agree because both shows are great. I think people watch both of them. Most of those people, they DVR the other. So both shows' ratings are going to go up, and I think that it can only benefit both of them.
I definitely. And then the next match we had was Serena Deeb versus Ty Conti for the NWA Women's Championship match. Tay Conti, Ty Conti. She was unbelievable in that match against Serena Deeb. She showed great resilience in the match, finding amazing ways to counter back. I love seeing her continued attacks on Serena, and this was her best match that Ty Conti's had in a while. Even though she lost to Serena Deeb, it's definitely, you're definitely seeing a change in her in-ring grappling and what she's capable of doing, because she has a jiu-jitsu background. She has a lot of martial arts background, and I definitely believe it's helping her out in the long run in her career. And it was definitely a good matchup, and hopefully we'll see Ty get another championship opportunity down the road. But I don't think it's going to be in the next couple weeks. I think it's going to happen within over time. I think there's going to be a build-up towards it. And the way I see it happening is they can go a route where they have her friend 99 Anna Jay turn on her and like go her own route, or they could just keep focusing on the NWA Women's Championship and continue that push towards a championship run.
Yeah, I think that they'll eventually get that way with Ty Conti. I do want to say I think that Serena Deeb was probably the best signing AEW had for the women's division. WWE, I think they would regret letting her go at this point because she has shown what she can do. And I don't think they ever used her in NXT. They used her on WWE a long time ago with Straight Edge Society, which, by the way, we had 2/3 of Straight Edge Society on AEW last night. Waiting for you, CM Punk.
Yeah, Straight Edge Society.
Then we could have the reunion.
Yeah.
But no, it was. She did a great job, and I really enjoy watching her. I want to see her and Thunder Rosa and
Serena.
And if he wasn't, yes, I want to see them go have another match together. I didn't get to see the one for the NWA title, but I would like to see that match again on hopefully on a pay-per-view, so they can have time and no commercial breaks and actually be able to have a match flow, because I feel like matches on a weekly episodic show doesn't really flow very much. They have to take breaks for the commercials and they slow it down. But no, I think a match between them two again would be great. I enjoyed this one. Ty Conti really got to show what she can do, and it was fun.
It definitely was, and it's something that I think I'm going to remember seeing that match for a while because it was phenomenal. And now the final match was Darby Allin versus Brian Cage, TNT Championship match. Darby was just aggressive right out of the gate, drove Cage into the guardrail head first. Cage countered back, dropping Darby on the outside floor, and then he tossed him over his head through the announce table on the other side.
He got whooped.
It was crazy. This match was probably the most hard hitting matchup we've had all week. And Darby was busted open. You saw the gash across his head, And you had to think there was no way at the beginning of this matchup that Darby was going to be able to counter back because Brian Cage was just tearing him apart early on. You can tell Darby was trying to tick off Brian Cage and get under his skin. And it paid off for Darby because he took full advantage of that and he bit into Cage's hand, who landed hard on the steel steps and then capitalized on Cage with the coffin drop. This match was unbelievable. A great main event, and I enjoyed every second of it. I think just how much these two were beating the hell out of each other, it made the episode of Dynamite very amazing and something to tune in for. And then we saw Sting come out towards the end of the match because Ricky Starks almost got involved, and then Sting hit him with the bat. Do you think Sting helping Darby Allin? Do you think he could have be a role in Darby's corner as a manager?
I don't think they're gonna have Sting manage for a while. I know that they want to have Sting do cinematic matches. I think that's where that will lead to. But I really enjoyed the match. I thought it was great. Brian Cage whooped his butt. He beat him all over the place, threw him through the table, like I said. I really enjoyed it. And I didn't know if you caught this, but when Darby faced Cody, and Cody beat him in the TNT tournament for right before they had the match at Double or Nothing. If you remember, Darby tried to pin Cody with a crucifix, and he failed. And Taz told him how to do it correctly. And Darby didn't want to do it. And Darby beat Brian Cage doing the crucifix correctly. That's how they did. I thought that was great storytelling. It brought back the entire Taz and Darby storyline, a full 360. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very well done by AEW. And I said it earlier in the show, but I think they do a great job of doing little tiny things in storylines to really make the person who's really paying attention really reward them.
Definitely. And now it's time to get into NXT. We're getting short on time, so I really want to just get through this pretty quick. So we had Shotzi Blackheart take on Candice LeRae. This match was okay. I think Shotzi showed great technique in the match using the armbar on Candice. She kept the pace on Candice LeRae and did not allow her to regain composure. Hartwell got involved, allowing Candice to regain control of the matchup and win. I like to see how much Shotzi keeps improving in the ring, and she's getting better over time in every match she competes in, and I can tell she was more aware in this matchup, and her development is paying off even though she did not win. And do you think Shotzi is ready for a championship run for the NXT Women's Championship? And if not, do you think she needs more time to develop?
I think she could definitely be in that picture. I'm a big fan of Shotzi. I think she's great. I think she's very entertaining. Her and Thunder Rosa are probably my two favorite female wrestlers right now. I think in the near future she definitely can be. Yeah. Do you think she could?
Yeah, definitely. I 100% agree that I could see her going up against Io Shirai for the NXT Women's Championship down the road at some big pay-per-view. And she's extremely talented. There's a lot that she's capable of, and I'm hoping to see this match happen very, very soon. I even teased about it on my Instagram story. I said this match needs to happen sooner or later, and it was a picture of Shotzi Blackheart holding up the NXT title in Io Shirai's face. So I definitely think this could be a main event worthy matchup because both wrestlers they're very talented. They're very intriguing, very fun to watch. They have great mic skills, and they do amazing in promos. And I think it will work. It will work out for both of them.
I agree.
And then we also had the Grizzled Young Veterans. We had the start to the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. That match was good. I also liked seeing the debut of MSK against Jake Atlas and Isaiah Swerve Scott. What surprised me the most in that matchup was how fast and how agile these two were. and using everything to their advantage on the outside floor. And this match definitely impressed me from MSK, seeing what they can do and how much they can deliver in a match. And it was incredible. And now MSK is advancing in the tournament. We also have Grizzled Young Veterans advancing, and then we have Undisputed Era advancing in the tournament. So it's down to 3 teams advancing so far, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this men's tournament goes. But we also have the women's version of it, and the teams were announced for that. We have Team Ninja, Caden Carden, Casey Catanzaro, Mercedes Martinez, and Tony Storm. We have Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart, and the way Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. So I'm looking forward for this tournament too. I think the first team that's going to push through is going to be Tony Storm and Mercedes Martinez, because of how aggressive they are and how far they are willing to go and take things in a match. So this is going to be one of those tournaments where only the strong survive. Only the most prestigious tag teams survive in a tournament.
I fully agree. I think the Mercedes and Tony Storm are going to win the female Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, but I want the Grizzled Young Veterans to win. I think they're great. I'm a big fan of them. They're very entertaining to watch. I expect them to give it to MSK because they are new and giving that push, but I would like to see the Veterans win. They're probably one of my favorite tag teams in NXT right now, which I'm really not big on a lot of the tag teams in NXT. Breezango, I can't get into them. I just think the name is terrible. That's what drives me away. It's the classic WWE taking 2 names, smashing them together, and just putting them out there. They're very talented, but they need a different name.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like Breezango needs to change things up and really go a different route. And as for Everrise, I don't see myself getting into Everrise too. I feel like something needs to be done in development with that team to get people more interested in them. But the one thing I like about them, and Josh can attest to this because Josh told me, they're funny, they're witty, they like to poke fun at the other teams. That's the one thing I like about this team. They're not afraid to really just go after the other teams and try to put pressure on the other tag teams in NXT. But I really think NXT needs to find another way to get people to be interested in this tag team.
I fully agree. I think you said it perfectly. I think that they need something a little different to revitalize them.
And then the other thing we saw on NXT this week, besides the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic and the women's tag team announcement, was Dexter Lumis versus Johnny Gargano. That was a really interesting match because at the end, we saw Kushida come out, and Kushida grabbed the NXT North American Championship, and now NXT is teasing a match between Johnny Gargano and Kushida. And I feel like this is the moment where Kushida is going to capitalize, and the NXT is going to have him take the reins with the NXT North American Championship and run with it.
It should have happened a long time ago. He was great in New Japan.
Yeah, it should have happened earlier on. It just
him and Nakamura.
Yeah,
Him and Nakamura definitely got shortened in WWE. I think Kushida is someone who wasn't exposed to the fan as much as Nakamura, and that's why Nakamura got pushed so much quicker in New Japan in NXT. But Kushida is a phenomenal wrestler, and on the entire span of NXT, where you look at other companies and they'll have that weight division like New Japan does. Kushida was in the juniors division. In NXT, Devitt or Balor, to people who don't watch New Japan, he went straight to the main event scene. Kushida is a talent that he could have also done that, and he should have. And hopefully he goes on a nice North American run and then goes to the main event scene where he belongs.
I agree. And I feel like this is really going to help his career. This matchup between him and Johnny Gargano, I think it's going to be a pay-per-view event, and it should be at a pay-per-view event for NXT. I don't really, it doesn't really grasp much attention when it's on a Wednesday night show. I feel like it would be better for them to hold off this match a little bit longer and wait till a pay-per-view.
I fully agree. I think that being on a weekly show wouldn't do it justice, because the majority of the time when you have a championship match on a weekly show, it's 20 minutes at most. On a TakeOver, which they're doing on February 14th, it could maybe be a 30-minute match. And it could be a much more impactful match that you remember for a while, which is why it should be there, because they're both that good enough to do it.
I agree, and it's going to be fantastic when they do it, and it's going to be a great matchup. And there's a lot in store for NXT this week and in the next couple weeks. But when we come back from break, join us for Flashback Saturday, the mic drop, our New Japan Pro Wrestling New Beginning preview, and our finishing move here only on Off the Mat on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Of course my kid's in the right car seat.
Is ready, right?
Her car seat looks like the right size.
There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear facing, forward facing. I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
This is Nnamdi Asamoah. I play football for the Philadelphia Eagles, but what I do off the field with United Way might be more important. I'm a volunteer tutor and mentor. Why? Because over 1 million kids a year drop out of school, and that's not okay. It takes 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes about the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a child becoming one or the other could be me, or it could be you. Studies show that if we get to these kids earlier, their chances are better. And kids who read well by 3rd grade are more likely to graduate. So join me in United Way. Suit up and take the pledge. Become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor. Because when a child succeeds, we all succeed. Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Take the pledge at unitedway.org. Brought to you by United Way, the Ad Council, and the National Football League.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Everybody's got a price. Rest in peace.
Welcome back to Off the Mat with Alex Lowe's and Josh Silverberg.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Off the Mat I'm here. I'm Alex Slows here once again with Lyle Gillen, and now it is time for our segment Flashback Saturday. And today I'm talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling's New Beginning USA Tour event in Tampa, Florida from January of last year. And I was at this event, and the matches from this event were Clark Connors versus Mysterioso, Yuji Nagata and Kojima versus Alex Coughlin and Ren Narita, Carl Fredericks and TJP versus Colt Cabana and Toru Yano, Jeff Cobb versus Alex Zane and Yoshihashi versus Lance Archer, and then Rocky Romero, Hiroshi Tanahashi, David Finlay, and Juice Robinson versus Bullet Club, Chase Owens, Yujiro Takahashi, and Tangaloa and Tamatonga. The first thing I remember about this event is they had a lot of different merchandise there that you could buy, a lot of different items, Bullet Club items, Hiroshi Tanahashi items. They had Mysterioso mask. They had Young Lion, New Japan t-shirts, a lot of different things that really caught my eye and got my attention. And then they also had a place, a photo area where you could take a picture in front of the New Japan logo. And this was my first New Japan show ever that I went to. This was not a live show. This was a house show. And I got to meet Lance Archer before the event. And it was $20 for an autograph and $30 for a picture, I believe. And he was really nice. I got to speak to him for a little bit and talk about his career and the things that really got my attention. Because before this event, a month ago? A month before this event, I remember seeing him and Jon Moxley battling for the IWGP US title. And I talked to him about that match. And he told me that he had to get 8 to 10 stitches in his arm from the gash going through the table.
Wow.
Yeah, he said it was a brutal match between him and Jon Moxley, but it was something that he will remember in his career because they tore it up in that ring. And the other thing I talked to him about was his time in Suzuki-gun with Minoru Suzuki, and that was really cool. And my favorite matches that night that stood out to me the most was the Bullet Club match against Hiroshi Tanahashi's team. And then at the end of the night, after the match, Hiroshi Tanahashi stayed, and he circled around the ring a couple times, took pictures with fans and autographs with fans.
That's really cool.
I thought that was really nice to see. And after the show, I was walking outside with my dad to our car, and I see Alex Conlon talking with his father because his father lives in the Tampa Bay area, I believe. And he saw us walking to our car, and he stopped me because I think he recognized me and my dad, because we were sitting in the front row section of the arena of that venue. And he asked me what we thought about his match and what we thought about it, what caught our eye the most, and if there was anything he needed to work on. Because at the time he was a young lion, and this was before he went up into the New Japan Strong League. So it was really cool to see. And I told him I have a passion for the sports entertainment business. I want to go into doing commentary and stuff, and he told me to keep shooting for it, man. Keep working hard, stay motivated, do whatever you can to keep that passion alive. And that was really cool to hear from him. And then as I was walking away from him, I see I think it was Clark Connors or Carl Fredericks. I think it was Carl Fredericks. He ran out from the locker room because Alex Conlon forgot something in the locker room. So he was running out to him to give something to him. So that was cool. And it was a really fun night. And the one thing that I missed that I didn't really get to see, as they announced for this event that Jay White was going to be there and Jon Moxley was going to be competing too, but they could not make it to the show, both of them, because it was a long distance travel thing. And so I guess like things come up when you're trying to get halfway across the world. and he was one of the wrestlers I was dying to see. I was wanting to see Jay White in action, and because of his popularity and just how gifted he is as a performer, and that would have been cool to see him at a house show because that rarely happens. And what was your first New Japan event you went to, Lyle? What was the one that was really fun, and who were the talent that night? Who were on the card?
Well, my first one, I went to G1 Supercard in Mania weekend, Mania 35 weekend at Madison Square Garden. But the one I want to talk about that's the most memorable for me, it was Fighting Spirit. Me and Josh went, and show was supposed to start at around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. But for some reason, New Japan didn't have an ambulance, so they couldn't start the show. So they had to wait like an hour and a half, 2 hours to actually start the show, because I think it's New York State law, they had to have an ambulance there for all sporting events. So they couldn't do the show yet. The president of New Japan USA came out. He's sweating bullets. He's all nervous as can be. And in very, very, very broken English, he's like apologizing to everybody, bowing to us, and then he leaves. And then a little bit later, Rocky Romero comes out, apologizes, throws out some T-shirts. It was just, it was a very good show. The main event was Evil and Sanada versus Okada and Ibushi. I got to meet Ibushi before the show. He was very, very nice. He bowed to me. I bowed back. Very respectful. It was a fun night. It was different from the G1 Supercard that I went to, which had Okada and Jay White. It had the first Ibushi and Naito match of the last couple of years, which I think was the best one they had together. It was, yeah, but the Fighting Spirit was fun. You mentioned the merchandise line. I didn't even go on the merchandise line. It was wrapping around the building. So I didn't even go. I didn't wait. Oh, it was insane. I just said, screw that. And me and Josh went to our seats, and we were behind a pole. We were behind a giant pole in the Manhattan Center. So we went and complained, and they moved us to the floor seats. It was great. But yeah, it was a fun show.
Yeah, New Japan, their events are just so much fun. I know there's one coming up that I think Josh got tickets to, Wrestle Dynasty at the Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, me and Josh we're going to try and go to that last year in August, but that got postponed to this year's August. We did not get tickets yet. But hey, if you want to come up here and join us for Wrestle Dynasty, you're more than welcome, man.
I'm honestly, I'm thinking about it. I would love to go to a live New Japan show because I haven't been to a live one yet, and that would be memorable for me. I think it would be a fun week.
Well, they want to make that like a Wrestle Kingdom kind of event, so it's probably going to be a major card. So it would definitely be something. If you're a New Japan fan, you should definitely want to come to New York, and that goes for everybody out there. New Japan did a great job. I think they're the best wrestling right now in the world, and it's can't miss.
I agree. Now it's time for our New Japan Pro Wrestling New Beginning preview because we're kind of really running short on time. And the matches we have are Yota Tsuji Kojima versus Great-O-Khan and Will Ospreay. Doki, Kanemaru, El Desperado, and Suzuki take on Jado, Gato, El Fantasmo, and Taiji Ishimori. Tomohiro Ishii, Hiroki Goto, and Okada versus Dick Togo, Yujiro Takahashi, and Evil. Tomoaki Hanma, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Kota Ibushi take on Naito, Shingo Takagi, and Sanada. And then Master Wato and Sho versus Bushi and Hiromu Takahashi. I'm very interested to see if Jay White's Bullet Club will get into a war between Evil's Bullet Club during this New Beginning tour, because both want to be the leader. Both of them want to be the main focus of the Bullet Club. And I think this should be decided in a main event 5-star caliber matchup between Jay White and Evil.
I think it will. That's where it's going to go. But right now, a lot of people are questioning about Jay White, where he's going to go. I would like to tell everybody, if you're unsure what's happening or you want to go to WWE, he's not. He still has a few more years left on his contract. It's all work. Calm down. Jay White I don't know if he's injured, but I think he's taking time off. they removed him from the New Japan roster on the website, but he's still advertised for March, which they announced the New Japan Cup in March. So he will be back then. I don't know where they're going to go, but I think I would expect him to win that and face Ibushi at March. I'm trying to think of the months in my head. Because I know last year they did the winner face at Dominion. I don't know if they're going to do that again. But yeah, I think that he will. Jay White will win and go on to face Ibushi. I think it's going to be a good new beginnings. I'm really interested in seeing what they do with Master Wado. Back when I was on Takedown Breakdown with Josh, I said I think he would be a perfect fit for LIJ. And a lot of this New Beginnings tour, he's facing LIJ. Now, I would really like to see what leads to it, what happens. I think he would be perfect, and I would love to see him join.
I agree. I would love to see Master Wado be an addition to LIJ. And I think LIJ needs a new member, and I believe it will be Master Wado mostly. But then you also have Yoshihashi. There's rumors going around that he might push his way into LIJ or separate himself from I'm trying to remember. Chaos. Yes. Separate himself from Chaos. I don't see that happening. I mostly see Sho going into LIJ. And I believe the match between Master Wado and Sho working together, I believe this will be fun to see both of these two compete because they both almost have the same style, in-ring style. And imagine what they could do against Hiromu and Bushi. I think we are going to see a big, fast-paced, hard-hitting match.
I agree. I think it's good to see Sho back. I would like to see Yo and Sho finally be able to tag again together. They were probably the best tag team in New Japan when they got hurt. I really can't wait for that to come back. Sho did a great job in New Japan Cup. I'd like to see that continue. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun match.
So, what do you think about Master Wado and his in-ring development so far? Do you see this match being do you see this match being difficult for Master Wado, or do you think he's gonna have so much control in the matchup and be able to bounce back from advances from the other team?
I think he'll be fine. You know, Gato wouldn't have put him in the match if he didn't think he could do well. And I think Gato's the best booker in wrestling right now, so I have full confidence in him. If Gato thinks he could do fine in the main event of a New Japan show, I'm perfectly confident in Master Wado. I think that he's a talented wrestler. I think he can do a good enough job to have a solid match. I've been impressed with him so far, for the most part.
Yeah, I agree. And the one match that sticks out to me the most on this card is the match, the tag team match with Naito, Shingo Takagi, and Sonata against Tamaki Hanma, Tanahashi, and Kota Ibushi. I believe that's going to be something that's going to stick out to me. It's going to catch a lot of fans in their eyes on this match, because Kota Ibushi is now both IWGP Heavyweight Champion and the Intercontinental Champion after his match at Wrestle Kingdom against Naito. And I actually wrote an article about this. I did an article on this match before it even happened. I wrote an article saying that Kota Ibushi, this would be his time to win the championship and run with it for a long time and really show the world what he's capable of and what he's able to do. Because in the past, New Japan didn't really give Kota Ibushi the main focus, and now they're finally doing it, and it's all coming into a full swing.
I agree. I think this is definitely Kota Ibushi's time to shine. It's going to be great watching both of the Golden Lovers as champions in different promotions on different continents show how great they truly are. And I think so many people out there are going to be able to see Kota Ibushi on this new level, because a lot of people who aren't real New Japan fans don't hear his name as often as Okada as Naito, as Jay White, as other guys who are always at the main event scene. So I really do think this is definitely Ibushi's time to get into that spotlight with everyone else and really show that he is one of the best in the world, which I think he is.
And one thing that really it kind of has me confused because we haven't seen El Phantasmo compete on the main roster of New Japan Pro Wrestling in a while. We've mostly seen him on New Japan Strong, and I'm interested to see how he battles with Minoru Suzuki because Suzuki is a very physical athlete. It's going to take a lot of work for El Phantasmo to try and cut down Minoru Suzuki, and that's never easy for any competitor who comes face to face with him.
I'm a huge El Phantasmo fan. I love El Phantasmo. I have a couple shirts of his. I think he's great in the ring. I think he's really cool. And he did a great job at Wrestle Kingdom. I don't know if you watched yet, but he did a fantastic job. I really enjoyed his match with Hiromu. I would love to see him be back in the junior title picture again and win junior title. But yeah, I think the match with Suzuki is going to be a different aspect that he hasn't really faced yet, and it's going to be definitely fun to watch.
I agree, and now it is time. It is that time for our finishing move, and my finishing move is Tampa Bay Pro Wrestling, which is an academy. It's also an academy and a promotion that's run by Jay Lethal and a good friend of mine, David. His name is Dr. Dax. I've seen him wrestle in MLW. That's where most people know him from, but he's also had a name in Tampa Bay Pro Wrestling as Dax DX. They're having their first event back in 2021 on Saturday, January 23rd at Retro Rat Toys and Comics in Largo, Florida. And this is a free event, and free event in the state of Florida. Nobody has to pay for anything. And if you live in Florida and are a wrestling fan, I highly recommend going out to that show and getting that experience and seeing what it's like. And because it's a lot of fun. I've worked with Tampa Bay Pro Wrestling and their promotion doing backstage stuff and a little bit of commentary since 2018. And I highly recommend checking them out. For more information on that, visit facebook.com/Tampa Bay Pro Wrestling. And what's your finishing move, Lyle? What do you have for this week?
I want to go with Hard to Kill. Tonight, Kenny Omega is making his Impact debut, and I cannot wait. I think the match is going to be great. Unfortunately, Alex Shelley is not in the match. It's going to be now Moose. And some people I saw speculating that it's going to set up a triple threat match between Moose, Rich Swann, and Omega for the Impact title.
Ooh.
Which I think they're gonna give Kenny the belt because that's his thing now. He's a collector, and I think that's the right move. And if they do that, he better come on Dynamite with the AEW, AAA, and the Impact title. I think it's gonna be a great match and be fun. I'm a big Kenny Omega fan. I've really been enjoying this new version of Kenny. And I'm excited to see this match tonight. I'm going to have the Island game on my TV. I'm going to have my tablet with Hard to Kill on it. I'm going to watch both at the same time. I'm really excited for tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I heard it's going to be a really good event, and there's a lot of amazing matches on that card. And one person I want to see compete is Eric Young, and I can't wait to see his match because I did an interview with him for the Worldwide Sports Radio Network on an Impact. It was a Impact seminar where there were people from all different media that were in line to ask questions, and we could only ask one question at a time. And my question was about his run with the TNA Championship, and I asked him what his current run is like from his past run, and he had a really good answer for me, and I really enjoyed his in-depth answer and how he said he's much more different, much more aggressive than he's ever been, and it was a great thing to be a part of, and I hope I get to do more of that with Impact. But that is going to do it. That is going to do it for this episode of Off the Mat. Remember to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Off the Mat WWSRN, and follow me and Lyle's personal Twitters. Mine's at Show Slows. Lyle's is at Lyle OTM. And please remember to download the WWSRN app on Google Play and the Apple App Store. It's absolutely free. You get all of our show access. You get all of our articles, our bios, and all the different shows that we have on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Also, don't forget to follow the Worldwide Sports Radio Network on Twitter at WWSRN_radio. That's at WWSRN_radio. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. Thank you, Lyle, for coming on and filling with Josh. It's always a pleasure to talk wrestling with you. I know you're going to be joining us in the next couple weeks, and me and Josh cannot wait to have you as a part of our team.
Thank you. I can't wait to join. I'm really excited, and I'm looking forward to it.
Josh will be back next Saturday, but until then, please have a safe and pleasant week. This is Off the Mat on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Have a good afternoon, everybody.
Good night.